Greetings. My name is Ram Hotep, coming back at you with another episode, another segment, broadcasting on behalf of the number 13 SignsAstrology.com. On this special segment, a special episode, I'm going to go back into speaking on crystals, and in particular, speaking on one of my favorite crystals, which is called selenite, ladies and gentlemen. It's called selenite. Let's take a look at it first before I get into the episode so you can feel the energy, because even just looking at this crystal on the video, you probably can feel the energy from this particular stone, because that's how it works. I mean, crystals have no limitation. Crystals can emit energies and frequencies even through televisions and computer screens or whatever you may be watching this particular episode on, because you're dealing with the rays, you're dealing with light. And really, this camera doesn't even give this crystal justice. If you notice, you can't even barely see. It almost looks like this is a light, like those little swords that they would have on Star Wars. I think they would call it lightsabers or something like that. It almost looks like one of those, doesn't it? It's actually a real live mineral that comes from the earth. When you start talking about working with crystals, you are talking about working with the earth element. But then at the same time, you're working with light, because when light penetrates this crystal, it causes frequencies to emit from this particular stone. And when energy culminates with this crystal and works with the frequencies coming from this crystal, when your chi or your inner chi comes from your body, or maybe whether it's your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and when it pierces the lights and the rays coming from this crystal, it creates a whole new energy. So crystals are deep. I mean, they're minerals. Just like if you were to work with a diamond, and you notice when the light hits the diamond will change colors. You may see various different colors in a white diamond. You may see red reflecting from it. You may see yellow. Some people may see green. So you'll see all these different colors coming out of the diamond based on the way and the direction that the light hits it. So understanding crystals, as far as the elements are concerned, you want to understand the earth element. You want to understand the element of light, which is fire, same thing. And then you want to also understand the air element, which is very key, because these crystals, if you get in a room full of crystals and it's set up properly, or whether it's in a grid, or you may go to a crystal shop or something like that, your ears may start to ring. You may start to hear music, or you may start to hear different tones, and you may start to get certain thoughts and certain ideas that come to your mind that you would have never thought about until you started to work with this crystal, or until you got into this room full of crystals. So crystals function through the air element as well. They're amazing entities. These are like little bitty entities, like they're alive, just like plants or beings. So I just want to kind of make that clear before I even get into what this selenite does. Now, this selenite is a very special crystal to me. Each crystal that I speak about has a different story attached to it. And my story with selenite is pretty simple, pretty brief. Started working with selenite back in 2012. It was my first time bringing this crystal into my life. And I didn't even have a big piece of it like this particular one that I have here. I had a piece of it that was probably about like that big, maybe about 2 inches or something like that. And what I did, I got this idea when I first got it. I got this idea, and it was like, well, there's more than 7 chakras. That was the first idea that came to my mind when I started working with selenite. And selenite taught me that it was good for activating the higher chakras, the chakras of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and even 13. So this is the crystal that you want to work with when it comes to wanting to work with those particular chakras. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And then I found out when I started to work with it more that it was good for putting a person into a transcendental state, or putting a person into an altered type of a state, from just holding it, from just rubbing it actually with your thumb. This is how you channel selenite. You want to rub it with your thumb like this in your left hand. This is how you program it. And as you rub it with your thumb in your left hand, you want to speak to it and tell it, I want you to make this a great video. I'll just use that for an example. And when I do that, it's going to program my reality, and it's going to manifest whatever I ask for it to do. So I learned a lot from selenite. I learned that I didn't need to use drugs. People always ask me, so what crystals do you work with if if you want to stop doing marijuana? I mean, I know marijuana is not necessarily a drug, but for the sake of just this video and for the sake of conversation, what crystal do you work with if you want to get to an altered state? Because there's some of us out there, we're Pisces, and some of us out there, we're Cancers, and some of us out there are even Leos and different signs like that. We like to be in altered states. We don't want. We know that this matrix is bullshit and it's nothing, and we want to be able to like experience a higher level of reality in our mind. We want to alter or stimulate our mind. So it's certain signs like that. Some signs they don't care. They're cool with being in the matrix and being in this reality, but you don't necessarily need to use drugs to do that. Drugs serves a purpose, but sometimes it's just as simple as just picking up a crystal and bringing it with you. But you have to have the right crystal, and sometimes you have to work with one crystal together with another. So what I learned is that if I work with selenite and then I couple it with like say amethyst and I go into a meditative state, it made me take off. And selenite taught me that. Selenite was like, go get some amethyst and work with the amethyst and couple this energy coming from this selenite with this amethyst, and you're going to take off. You're going to experience an altered state or whatever. And this was around the time when I had really embraced the spiritual movement. I decided I wasn't going to go back to my ways of just, being in the streets where, after you get off work from hustling and doing whatever, what may have you, you go get you a 40 ounce or whatever, go get you a fifth or something. You go get you a blunt, roll it up and you go smoke and you get high, and that's how you take off or whatever. So I was like, I'm not really into that. Like I want to be able to get off work or get off, from making my videos or whatever, because I was actually making videos when I first found out about selenite, and I want to be able to chill out and be in an altered state. And selenite was like, yeah, go into a meditation, put the amethyst on your forehead, put the selenite above your crown chakra, like up here. It doesn't have to touch your crown chakra, but of course you have to be laying down flat to do this, and work with them together. And what happens is that it's going to program a reality or a different form of a matrix, even if you want to call it that. And it's going to program this around mainly the higher chakras. It's going to cause these higher chakras to start to work together. And you need the amethyst because the amethyst or connects with the brow chakra. And the amethyst is important to use as a channel so that you can connect with the higher chakras and then connect with the selenite. So the amethyst sends out a beam or array to the selenite, and then the selenite sends out a beam or array to activate the other chakras that aren't necessarily connected to the physical body. Now, another thing I found out about selenite, and this was recently, is that it's not just good for transcendental states and like higher spiritual states, because some crystals you work with, they're only good for like say for instance like amethyst. Amethyst is mostly good for like depression, and it's good for a lot of sixth chakra type of stuff. It's a mental stone. So it's good for like, for people that do like being in altered states and transcendental states and things of that nature. Is good for helping you to come up with great ideas, and it's good for activating your imagination, and it's good to help you visualize. Well, selenite is good for all of that too, but the good thing with selenite is that I found out it's actually a grounding crystal too, and I didn't know this. If you work with it, and if you were to put it, say for instance, if you were laying down and you were to put it uh, beneath your feet. So like say for instance you land down flat and then you put the selenite below your feet. If you put the selenite below your feet and just kind of lay it down flat like this, and then it'll channel up and go through the root part of your body and go up your root chakra, and then it'll help to activate your kundalini, and then it'll help to send that kundalini up, and it'll still activate the higher chakras, but it can do it by activating the lower chakras first and then sending that energy up into the higher chakras. So selenite ultimately is really a good chakra balancer. It's better than quartz. Like it reminds people of quartz when you kind of see it, but it's better than quartz because quartz is an amplifier. And I'm not going to say it's better. I shouldn't say it's better because I don't want to compare crystals, and that's what selenite is telling me right now as I make this video. Like I don't want to compare and say it's better or worse, but it's a little bit more potent than quartz or whatever. It looks like quartz, but it's a lot more potent than quartz, and it works with all the chakras in a different kind of a way. So like if you working with quartz or whatever, quartz amplifies. your intentions. Like you work with quartz, you could use quartz with just about any stone. It'll amplify whatever you're doing. But with selenite, it balances everything that you're doing. This is a balancing stone. And it's actually a stone to help to bring material things too as well. Selenite is ruled by Taurus. A lot of people don't realize that. So selenite being ruled by Taurus means that it's a beautiful stone. It's here to beautify the situation. It can bring you money in abundance. When you put your intentions in the selenite by just staring at it, it'll cause you to be able to harmonize your life and beautify your life. And it's not necessarily a beautifying meaning that you got to go buy some new clothes or you got to go spend a bunch of money, but it'll help you to be able to beautify your life based on what you already have, the resources that you already have. So like say for instance, if you live in a room or in a shack and you only got a few things, selenite will help you to be able to take all of those things and make and organize it in a way to where it makes sense, to where all these things are working together for you in your environment. So that's why selenite is beautiful, man. It's a beautiful stone. I mean, it's also a crystal healing, one of the healing stones. Now all crystals heal, don't get me wrong, but selenite heals on a different level. You could take this selenite, put it into a glass of water or a jug of water, and put it into like a bucket of water or something, sit it outside, and then let the light penetrate it and let the sunlight and the moonlight and all the planetary light coming from the sky and all the star lights and all of that penetrate the waters and turn it into an elixir. And you could drink this elixir and it'll help you to cure cancer. That's right, it'll help you to cure cancer. It's good for that. So selenite is a good teacher. It's good for mental disorders. So it's good for a lot of things. It's one of the best stones when you talk about like if there's only one stone that you should get that'll help you with just about everything on almost every level. I would think it's selenite. Selenite would be that stone or whatever. I mean, you got your rose quartz that helps you with love. I'm gonna do a video. I think I already did a video on rose quartz, but you have your amethyst that helps you with one thing with like people that are depressed and stuff like that. You got your onyx that protects you. Well, selenite kind of does a little bit of all of that. That's what makes it beautiful. So what's going on with 13signsastrology.com right now is that we have these selenite wands right now, and these selenite wands are actually this is probably about 9 inches long, pretty thick. It's about this thick around. So it's pretty thick or whatever. It's 9 inches long, and if you holding this wand, people always want to know like how do I get my information, how do I channel, and where does all this stuff come from? Well, I mean, this is not my only wand that I have, and this is not my only crystal, but this is one of them though. So this is not the only one I work with, but this is one of them though. I mean, I could just hold on to this stone, close my eyes, and meditate, and I get unlimited information. When I brought these wands into my life, which was actually a few days ago, because I wanted to put them on the site, and I used one of them and slept with one of them, and I had an amazing dream. I mean, amazing dream, and it showed me how a situation would have played out with a particular female that I was kind of like interested in and conversing with or whatever. And I was thinking about, maybe going to the next level with her. But once I slept with this wine, it showed me how the situation would have played out had I kept going forward with this particular female, which was interesting or whatever. So, and it's not to knock the person. I decided, not to go forward with it because, I didn't like the outcome or whatever. And selenite is good for helping you heal past life karma as well as future life, your future lives. Now you might think, how can you heal your future lives and they haven't even happened yet? Well, the decisions that you're making right now is building up to your future life. So what selenite does is just from staring at it, it could show you 8 different possibilities based on dealing with one particular scenario. So it'll show you 8 different possibilities because you always have each scenario that you're in can go 8 different ways. So this is how your future lives play out. Your future is based on now and the decisions that you make now. So when you deal with selenite, it'll show you all of your different possibilities that can happen in the future. But then not only that, it'll lead you towards the best direction. The best direction. So selenite is a very powerful stone. Numerologically, because I deal with numbers too, is ruled by the number 8. It's ruled by the number 8. So number 8 is dealing with Saturn. Number 8 is actually one of the money numbers, but number 8 is old money. Number 8 dealing with big money. So like when you do, like say for instance, I got the hidden treasure ritual on my website. When you do the hidden treasure ritual, that helps you to manifest big money. It helps you manifest old money. That's kind of like A energy, selenite energy. So it's not necessarily, even though this stone is good for material things, it's not really like a stone where you're like, well, I want to go get $20. I'm gonna go hold on to my selenite wine, and then all of a sudden $20 is gonna come to me. It's not. It's deeper than that. Selenite is a stone you get if you're trying to manifest $50,000, $50,000 home. Even it's not even about money. It helps you to attract materials in a way to where you can go around a lot of stuff. Like you may be working with selenite, and then all of a sudden you find out that your great great grandfather or somebody like that had some access to some property and they left it to you and you never knew, and all of a sudden you found out this information from just being online and getting on ancestry.com, and next thing you know you search and found out he owned all this property and you the deed was in his name and you are the rightful heir, so that now you got all this property coming to you just from working with this particular stone. So you don't need money a lot of times to get things. And selenite teaches you that, because selenite also teaches you a lot about the law and the legal system. So if you got a situation going on with the law, bring selenite with you in court and just let it play out. Like you don't have to. People always say, "Well, how do I work with this? What do I do?" All you gotta do is get the selenite and do this. What I'm doing with my thumb, just rub on it like a genie. Just rub on it. It's your genie. That's what selenite is. So it's the genie stone. So it's an amazing stone, amazing being, really, an amazing fairy, really. This is what it really is. And I mean, I swear by it. I live by it. It was out of my life for a minute, and I'm glad that it's back into my life. A lot of my selenite got away from me because crystals have a way. Those people that work with them know that they'll get away from you. Like if they want to go somewhere else, they'll get away. I remember at one point, someone that was kind of working in my office was straightening up my office or whatnot, and they threw one of my stones away, or they on accident. I mean, they didn't do it on purpose, but I looked at it like that stone didn't want me, and it was rather expensive. So I wonder where that stone is now and where it ended up getting at, or where it ended up finding itself at. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's where it wanted to go. So I can't complain or whatever. But I mean, they have a life of their own. They have a mind of their own. They are beings. Respect them as that. Respect your stones. Don't ever say that this stone isn't working for me. It's not doing right. Like respect your stone. Like treat it like it was your child. Pay attention to it. Talk with it. Look at it. Hold it. Give it attention. Just like you like attention. You want somebody to talk to you. You like to be held. You want to be looked at. That's why you buy nice clothes and stuff. So don't you think the stone wants to too? It's just like you. So I think that's going to do it for me. I think I covered everything with this particular stone. So I hope you learned something from this episode or segment. If you're interested in these selenite wines, we have them on the site for a limited time only now. Everything's for a limited time only when it comes to 13 signs astrology. Click on the link below. And I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down. Until we meet again, I'll leave you in good vibes, prosperity. Stay high though on the stones. Always got to stay high though. Never let the low lights bring you down. Stay high. Namaste.